Okay, folks, here we are. So we have the scores now for the first round of judging for the league table. Dan and Ed haven't seen these yet. So remember, this is part of the competition between these two to see who gets a beautiful bottle of single malt whiskey. And no doubt huge bragging rights as well. So what we're going to do, let's start with you, Ed. If you want to grab your score sheet there. And before you pull that out of the bag, can you tell us what you entered into the judging this time around?
So I've entered a dark beer, and I've entered it in the sweet stout category. Not sure if it was a sweet stout or not. I probably should have read all the other stout categories, but it felt fairly sweet. It was 4.5% strong. I thought it was quite drinkable until I kind of actually filled the bottle for the competition, where I've done a stupid beginner's mistake. It's a funny story. I at that point in time was fast carboning a beer, so my whole system was set to 35 psi. And of course the kegs, which were already carbonated, were not connected. So what I did was use my counter pressure filling cap on my little mini rigger that I wanted to put the beers in, and I've released the oxygen and purged it with CO2, not thinking about that system was at 35 psi. So the bottle essentially had a 35 psi pressure, and then I connected it to the keg, which is sitting at 12 psi or 10 psi. And guess what happened? The keg got quite bubbly. So I kind of expect to have a little bit of oxidation in that beer, more than it should be, but maybe my purging was good enough. Either way, there was a bit of swearing involved, so I don't really know what happened to that beer doing that. I think I'm the first one I know of who's done that stupid thing. So next time when you fill something from your kegs, make sure that your pressure is equal. So yeah, we'll see.
And
spritzy stout.
Yeah, that's right.
And your choice of a stout, what led you to brew that in the first place?
Well, what led me to brew that in the first place? I think there was some grains that were mispacked possibly in the bag, and since I hate wasting things, I looked at the grain bill and thought, oh, that looks like a stout, and I might have added some roasted barley to bring it a little back up. So yeah, essentially it was not exactly a recipe that I created, but it looked good enough. I think it tastes good enough. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so if you want to pull out your scorecard now.
Right. Let's see what good enough means, eh? Woo, I'm shaking.
Let's hope I put the right ones in the right envelope.
That's right.
So what have we got? What's the news?
Right. Well, it's a 32, which is not terrible. So it's a bronze medal, which is not bad. Let me see what people didn't like. Well, mouthfeel, not much sweetness. I agree. I wasn't quite sure if it was sweet enough for a sweet stout. Normally, you would think you put some lacto in there or something, but I didn't in this case. So aroma says chocolate, coffee, toasty malt, acetone, slight woodiness, pleasant. Okay. Appearance, very dark brown, head dissipates fast. I think that's again probably me losing a lot of carbonation in my screw up there. Flavor, I got a 14 out of 20, that's good. Coffee, burnt notes, initial fizz, vanilla, hint of caramel, slight bitterness, minimal hop. True, there was close to no finishing hops in there. Mouthfeel, I got a 2 out of 5. Something about light creamy, not much sweetness, initial fizziness, lacking in the mid-taste. Yeah, maybe. I kind of agree. I think that beer, if I would be tweaking it, I'd probably look into the malt bill and try to bring up that sweetness a little bit. And the overall impression says would be more suitable in the stout category. Could be more creamy, could be more sweet. Well, they've got a good point, is what I said as well. Probably should have looked into the categories. 3 pints on the session scale. Well,
That's all right.
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
Pretty good.
At my age, that's pretty much all I can drink. Sounds good to me. I think that's a fair score. 32 is fair. I wouldn't have given it more than that myself. So.
Awesome.
Whoever
Okay,
judged
Dan.
this, well done, guys.
Perfect.
So, Dan, you're up.
I'm up. All right.
So, a little sneaky here. Dan actually entered 2 beers, which violates the rule we have that that both Ed and Dan can enter the same amount of beer. So what I've done is actually pick Dan's highest scoring entry, which is very generous of me. But I'm thinking at the moment, Dan, you don't actually know which scorecard is in that envelope. Is that right?
I don't know.
So if you were going to guess, which beers did you enter?
I entered a American Pale Ale,
Yep.
single hop.
Yep.
And I entered a oatmeal stout, coffee oatmeal stout.
And out of those 2, which one would you guess scored higher?
I think I'm going to go with the oatmeal stout.
Well, open it up. Let's see what we got in there.
No pressure.
Oh!
You kicked my butt.
What's the news?
I got it. I got oatmeal stout.
Oh, well done.
I'm happy with that. I've got a coffee dominant aroma, medium high, coffee and syrup like malt, well integrated into coffee. Some roast notes, some sweetness, very low hops and low esters. Yeah, it was a 4.8% oatmeal stout. So I didn't use a lot of hops, and I knew the coffee was going to shine a little bit there. The appearance, good clarity, dark brown. I don't know what that says. Someone's handwriting was a little bit on the slide there. Flavour, medium sweet malt, more roasted than aroma. Okay, interesting. Coffee, similar as aroma, clean fermentation, balanced towards sweet. Mouthfeel, body, medium carb, low alcohol warmth, medium creaminess. So I've got a 2 out of 5 on the mouthfeel. That's probably about right, actually. I wanted it to be a bit more fuller and have a bit more sort of body to it. A slight astringency as well. Yeah, I think it might have been coming through from the dark grains, or maybe the coffee. I couldn't work that one out. And coffee overall impression: coffee well integrated. Astringency detracts. Try to remove it. Good effort. 35 out of 50.
35. Oh, left us all the way in suspense there. Awesome.
Well, what can I say? He's brewing with stainless conicals. I brew in buckets,
Well, and your malt bill. Well, your malt bill was
The malt bill was adventurous. I agree. I think next time I can't use that excuse anymore. I think next time I actually need to make up a recipe.
Okay, fellas, well, we haven't picked a date for the next judging yet, but it's scheduled for late July or early August. So keep an eye out for the deadline for beers. Make sure you got something that's going to represent available for the next judging.
Sounds good.
do my best.